So you've got an issue that you think might need a floor support put in place. If you've got a crawl space or a basement, as long as it's not a live-in finished basement, there's a solution to take care of squeaks, or maybe your floor is shifted and settled over the years. Maybe you've got a door that's not lining up with its doorway, or you've got some drywall cracks, and you're trying to get that settling to stop. Putting a support post in your crawl space or basement is definitely a way to go. It's what the professionals do, and I feel like with just a few minutes to talk you through the process, you can be ready to tackle this on your own. Now, it starts with the right materials. We've got a 6x6 post here that we're going to run across the bottom of your floor joists. We're going to anchor the post, well, for the demonstration we're not, but in your crawl space or basement, you want to use a solid concrete pad, not a paver. They're not very, they're $1.80 when I think the pavers are 85 cents, but it has to do with the density and the PSI strength of the concrete used in making these. An actual pad, concrete pad for this project can handle the weight and the direct force of the jack, whereas a paver will just crack out virtually right away. You want to dig a nice level area in the ground underneath it, or make sure it's properly supported so that pad is nice and straight. And then you're going to find a jack the right size. They are rather variable depending on which holes you use to line your rods up. It can be made taller or shorter that way. And the top piece for the jack is adjustable as well, and it spins in its adjustment. It has a collared area up there designed to fit right inside a hole on the top plate we're going to use. So all of these things work in harmony to give that area of the floor you're trying to get taken care of, to give it the support it needs. Now, we're going to use some standard tools. The only thing we're going to be doing that might be a little different is we are going to use galvanized screws instead of what you might use for normal construction or a drywall type screw. The galvanized screws, the reason why we're using those is for two reasons. The main reason is that it's interacting with this pressure treated wood, and also because crawl spaces, hopefully they're nice and dry, but occasionally you find them where there's a lot of humidity. So that screw can handle not only being in contact with pressure treated wood for extended periods, but it can handle the moisture and humidity in a crawl space or basement as well. This tool is basically a post level. This particular model has magnets on the back of it that will allow it to grip the jack post, so we can make sure it's nice and plumb. It doesn't grip it wonderfully. You can always use a piece of tape or a small bungee cord to hold it in place if you need to as well, but that will also come in handy. Now, the basics of the operation involve getting a 6x6 post up in position. Move that over here. Now, I do that fairly simply. I kind of cheat because I have to do a lot of work by myself often. So what I'll do is I'll cut a nice long piece of strap. This is plastic plumber strap, but you can use metal plumber strap as well. And I'll get a nice long piece cut. I'll use a galvanized screw to put one end up in the joist, maybe the center of the three joists we're trying to bridge. Also, before I forget, you definitely need to bridge at least 2, 3, 4, 5 joists. You can bridge as many joists as you need to adequately control the sagging or repair the sagging, or to control squeaks. You'll just need to place the floor jacks every 3 to 4 feet along that run. If I have anything, the one we're putting up today is about as long as I would go with just one jack. If we go any much longer than that, I would definitely put a jack just in from each end rather than just use one in the center. That way you can just be assured that it's spreading the load appropriately. So, once this strap has got one screw into the joist, and I've got my impact gun or my screw gun, whatever you've got handy, with another screw loaded into it, ready to run the other side of the strap, I'm going to hold this 6x6 up in position while I get the strap wrapped around it and get a screw in it. This is obviously easier with a buddy, but if you're stuck doing it by yourself, this strap will hold it in temporarily while you get the jack underneath it, and then the jack will hold it in place just fine. I'm trying to think. Oh, I'm using a 6x6 post, but in a lot of circumstances, a 4x4 will work fine. A lot of times when a professional company comes in to do this that specializes in this, they'll use a 4 foot wide by 6 foot tall, essentially a beam, either that they fabricated or had cut out of pressure treated wood, and they'll run those especially for longer lengths. I had a piece of 6x6, so it worked out perfect for today. But let me get that other strap up in place with that held temporarily. Then we'll get this column assembled and we'll go from there. punch through. Too much chutzpah on my screw. Now this strap's just in there to hold it temporarily. You want to be careful handling pressure-treated wood because a pressure-treated splinter will ruin your day. And you definitely not only need to get the splinter out right away, but you need to clean it effectively because it'll get infected and get real nasty. It can be problematic that way. Now, with your concrete pad in place underneath it, you're going to take one of the base plates like this. It comes with two and they're identical. You're just going to lay it on top of the pad. That raised area gives the post a place to sit and to stay focused on. We're going to assemble the post though, and that goes like this. It comes with these large bolts, okay? The bolt simply slides in the hole. You're going to need to do some experimentation to get it at the right height. I actually think I have it a little high, so I'll have to run it down a little bit. Once you feel like you've got it in the right place, should be about right, maybe a little tall. The basics of this piece right here is it's got two flat parts to it that can be gripped with an adjustable wrench, so you can get it started and get it snugged, and then come adjust it a 1/4 inch every week or so to slowly bring your floor back up to level if that's what you're trying to compensate for. If you're just trying to stop movement or fix a squeak, once you get it in contact and then maybe a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch beyond that, almost always takes care of a decent floor squeak. If it's based on framing issues. We've got a little ridge on the bottom of this cup, of this cap, that sits right inside the post to hold it still and to keep it centered. Just like that. Now, we'll get this second bolt in. You want to get the nuts on them. It's a standard acorn nut. I'm just going to use an adjustable wrench to snug it up a little bit. Just enough to make sure it doesn't back out somehow. It's actually the body of the bolt that's handling the weight, so the tension on the nut is fairly minimal. So we're going to put this in place. You want to get it centered in the approximate, for the sake of the demonstration, will be approximate, but you're basically going to put it in the middle of the board, of the support board that you're installing. Bring it down enough that we can get the top plate on it. Tilt it into position. We'll start tucking it up. We're mostly just getting the wood locked to the joist right now. Your adjustable wrench will come in handy here. Now once you've got that barely tucked up against there, you want to get your post level on there and make sure that everything looks good. It's a little catawampus that way, so catawampus, it's a technical term. Okay? Okay. And once you've got it in there, good and tight, you're sure it's plumb, it's locked into position. Once again, if you're just trying to stop floor squeaks, you just want to get it up enough to take the tension off that area. If you're trying to level a floor that's crazy out of level, you usually want to do it a small amount at a time, a 1/4 inch or so a week, to avoid doing any more damage to the drywall and to keep it from cracking even worse than it probably already is. Otherwise, that takes care of it. You're ready to clean up your mess and head back topside. Now, I usually leave this strap in place just in case I ever need to move that support for some reason. It'll be my extra hand in that case as well. Okay? That wasn't as hard as it looks now, was it? Now go take care of it, because I know you got better things to do.